What's good, Fins Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We're back with another one, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Jason Taylor to my Zach Thomas. What's good, EM?
Man, what's good, homie? Let's get it. Let's get it, Fin Nation. Let's get it.
So, guys, we got a couple of things we want to go over before we get into what we deem as the 5 biggest questions heading into training camp. We're just going to start off with a couple news and notes because I know there's a lot of questions. There were in the last stream. I know Larry L asked in the last stream, and I know EM just informed me that in TD stream a lot of people were asking. So we're going to bring up just some info regarding Larry Warford. We'll start off with that, guys. And we'll start off with this just to confirm so everyone sees it for their eyes. So Larry Warford is looking for a salary at around $7 million. So he's not looking for 10. He's not looking for 12. Like I said in TD streamed earlier, the thing that could be a holdup is term. He's 28. He could want 3 or 4 years, and teams are only tabling 1 or 2 year offers, especially a team like us. It only makes sense to table of, I think, a 2-year max. Get him till he's 30. Let Kinley and whoever else you're going to draft and Jesse Davis, let them grow behind him. Let them be the depth behind him. Let them get better behind him. And potentially maybe take away snaps in year 2, right? This is year 1 because, we'll get into it later, but, the reality is setting in that even though a lot of us don't want it, it is a real possibility that Tua might see the field at some time this year. So I think even getting this guy for 2 years, even if Tua's first year is in 2021, like we all hope it is, at least he has stability in the interior like that from him for the second year. And before we get to what you got to say, EM, let's just show another piece of news, guys. There is someone you should follow on Twitter. His name's Incarcerated Bob. He's based out of New York. I've been following him for about 3 or 4 years on Twitter. He breaks news not just for football. This guy's plugged in. He breaks news for like hockey, baseball, et cetera, et cetera. Like he's legit, guys. He actually had a beef with Benjamin Albright. And what happened was Incarcerated Bob ended up being right on a couple of things. They got heated. Albright blocked him. They kissed and made up on social media. They're cool now, but he is legit, guys. And this is what he put out the same day that salary came out. And he's just saying, here are the teams: Texans, Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, all seem most serious. Bills are also expected to kick tires. So we are looking into it, guys. I think this comes into term, and I think it comes into, hey, he wanted $7 million. But if there's 4 or 5 teams, there could be a bidding war, right? So teams might have to come up on salary and possibly term. What do you think about that, EM?
Man, what are we talking about here? I'm hoping Miami is like seriously considering making this move. Man, I think he would bring he would definitely help with stabilizing things on the interior, and that's ideal for a quarterback because what's the pressure that any quarterback that you talk to, they do not like to see is that pressure coming up the middle. And with the addition of Eric Flowers, Ted Karras, and hopefully this gentleman, that would definitely go a long way to stabilizing things up front, bro.
And brother, if you're already paying Eric Flowers $10 million, I could swallow paying Larry Warford $10 million, $3 million over asking price because I know what I'm getting, right?
Oh, absolutely, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. And for him to come out and say, he and his agent to come out and say that they're only looking for $7 million. What are we waiting for? Wow.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to be a term and a bidding war. That's what you're going to have. Teams going back and forth.
But even then,
it'll get done, bro. This will get done in the next week. I guarantee you.
Man, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't even
I'm not saying by the Dolphins. I'm just saying some team will wrap this up in the next week.
Right. I would even entertain giving them that 3rd year, but it would be a team option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree.
So, yeah, man, I don't know what is there to talk about?
Our interior would be so disgusting. I really like that.
It'd be light years ahead of what it was last year.
It would definitely be the best interior in the AFC East.
That's a legitimate argument. You definitely can make. That's
and I'm just worried about winning that division right now. Let's talk about. Yeah. I'm not about to drop the SB word like other people because I ain't about in that. But let's worry about our own right now.
Yeah,
Let's worry about our division. And you know what, bro? I've told people on this. I hate the Bills, guys. Where I'm from, I know I hate the Jets too. And trust me, I hate the Patriots because I know some Patriots fans, and they've been around since the Bledsoe days, not since the Brady ones. So they're the real ones that gave it to me when they started winning. But I hate the Bills. Just like I'll tell you right now, man. I used to walk into that. I used to get. I haven't been since it's been about 3 years since I've gone, but in my early 20s, man, I used to walk in there and I was just chanting F the Bills, F the Bills. My friends are like, yo, we're not with this kid. Because I was like, those New York, man, but I'm telling you, it's crazy. That stadium, it's 40% Dolphin fans. I mean, I think that's why one of the first games at the then Sky Dome, now Rogers Center, was the Dolphins Bills, because you'd be surprised, just like how in London the Dolphins have a presence. Like I went to school with guys who their dads were Dolphins fans. You know what I mean? So like it's kind of crazy because you come up from where I am, there doesn't have to be any there's no loyalty because there's no home team, right? So so it's like pick your own, right? So I was just born into a Dolphins family. But yeah, man, I think this is a real. I don't think it's just a possibility, bro. I think this is. It makes sense for the Bengals to protect Burrow. It makes sense for all four of those teams. I don't see the Bills, but when you look at it, if he wants to go to a contender, if you look at that, I'm knocking the Jets off that list, and the Bengals. I don't know. To me, it's the Texans or the Dolphins if I look at that list.
And I think at the end of the day, if Miami is really interested in him, I'm going to put my bet. If it comes down to the Texans, really the Dolphins and any of those teams, because if they really are that serious about signing him, they'll get it done. I'm pretty confident. It's not a matter of if he will come here, because I think ultimately Flores will get and sit and talk to him, get a chance to talk to him. He'll win him over. And it's just a matter of, whether or not Miami is really that serious and bringing him in.
I'm just telling you, bro. I think people are also not taking into account, because I haven't heard anybody talk about it other than me on this platform. I think people are really underestimating and undervaluing the growth and developmental impact this would have on a player like Robert Hunt if they really want to start him at right tackle. Just like I think one of the reasons why they're okay with going with Austin Jackson, even if he is a little raw right away, even if they're going to do that, they have Eric Flowers next to him, who's played left tackle, but now is situated himself in left guard. So he's been through the ups and downs. He's found his footing in the NFL. It took a couple years, right? But you like to see. That's why I was kind of worried about. What was the one thing I was always going back to about Tua starting, right? If Solomon Kinley, I don't think people realize that one extra rookie. If you go from 2 rookies out of your starting 5 to 3 rookies, especially like we've talked about earlier, right? We want those phone booth Mauler type of guys in the middle, in the middle 3, and you can kind of get away with having those athletic raw guys outside on the tackle if you situate that interior well enough, right? You can mask deficiencies if you do it well enough, and I think this would kind of sew that up, man. To me, if you want my honest opinion, it's a no-brainer. I don't understand why it hasn't been done yet. Buddy, I would have been – me and Douglas Do-Wrong were talking on Twitter about this, and I shared a GIF, and I said if me and – I was talking with him, and I said if me and Douglas were in that front office right now, I showed a GIF of a bunch of bankers lining up with bags of cash and just throwing it down the line, just the one guy throwing it at him because, bro, I mean, it would be done. I would have literally picked up the phone and been, how long does he want and how much does he want? Let's go.
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, if Miami is that serious about signing him, I think he'll be a Miami Dolphin. That's the only question.
And it makes more sense to spend that money on a guy like Logan Ryan when you actually look at the fact that, man, we drafted Noah Igbenogany. We got Nick Needham, where me and you are saying, don't forget about this kid. Where are you going to fit him in? You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the
Mhm.
reasons me and you were kind of blown back initially about the Noah Igbenogany, because we were like, don't take snaps away from this kid when he proved
Exactly.
to be he proved to be one of our shining stars last year, the gem and the diamond in the rough, so to speak, right? You found the
Exactly.
diamond, keep polishing it. Don't let it sit on the shelf, you know what I mean?
I
So
agree.
what happened yesterday was it came out early in the day that the Jets believed they had reached a 1-year agreement with Logan Ryan, but then that was kind of about a couple hours later, it started going a little haywire, and the report came out that we were still in play for Logan Ryan. This is 22 hours ago, and this was not too long after. This is about 6-7 hours after that initial report came out that he'd reached a 1-year agreement with Logan Ryan and the Jets, right? So, yeah, I know everyone's talking about it right now. Things continued to kind of go. It continued to kind of scream the Jets. You had Ian Rappaport go on NFL Network, I believe it was today. It was ESPN or the NFL Network, and he was basically saying there's mutual interest between the Jets and Logan Ryan, and hopefully he's a Jet by the end of the week. And then as of a couple hours ago, from Michael Marino, hearing the Jets and Logan Ryan continued to advance in talks, both sides starting to see an agreement. As likely text I got would be a shock if Logan Ryan isn't the Jet at this point. So, doesn't it make more sense? I feel like, I saw Donald Young, he said it earlier today. Logan Ryan feels like more of a want, where Warford, especially with where that guard is right now, is more of a need, because when you look at what we got, what we've drafted, what we brought in, free agency, et cetera, what we already had, Warford is a significant upgrade over a Jesse Davis or Solomon Kinley or even a Robert Hunt at right guard. It's no question. The guy's coming off 3 straight Pro Bowls. Logan Ryan, when you break down the numbers, is he really that significant of an upgrade to what we need right now in the secondary? Like, I know people are saying, we can play him at free safety, but he played snaps at free safety, but even when he was at New England in his best years, he was more of a nickel corner in New England more than he was a safety, right? So I know he played snaps there, but I'm just saying, like, is it really a need at this point?
This one right here, bro, to be honest with you, this one is puzzling to me. I get the why Flores can potentially be interested in him from a familiarity standpoint. Obviously he's with him for some years in New England, and he's obviously familiar with the player. But again, like you said, like you alluded to earlier, with what we already have, what we brought in free agency, and also what we did in the draft, I just don't understand, unless they're going to sign him to play primarily at free safety for the most part. I just can't, because if you sign him, and again, if he's going to want, I know he was wanting like 9 or 10 million.
He wants 9.5. From what I've seen, he wants 9.5
at the start of free agency.
He wants 9.5 million.
Yeah, exactly. And if you sign him, you bring him in for that price, you sign him, he's taking snaps away from somebody. You're not paying somebody $9.5, $10 million to sit on the bench. You're not doing that. So he'll be taking snaps away from someone. But again,
I'm not paying 9.5 or 10 million to play safety when he's been primarily a boundary corner or a nickel corner for the majority of his career.
Exactly. And I just don't think in this scheme, I just don't think he's a significant upgrade over Nick Needham or Noah Igbenogany at this stage. He's 29 years old. He'll be 30 once the season starts. I just never was a fan of him, of his ability. He was good in that New England system, but again, I've just never been a big fan of him. And this one is a little puzzling. Well, it's a lot puzzling. But
check this out. So last year, Okay, this is to put it in perspective. This guy's asked for $9.5 million. He plays primarily corner, nickel corner. We're talking about playing him at a position primarily at free safety where he's not a natural free safety, but okay. So last year, bro, he was targeted 100. He was targeted 114 times, which was the most in the league, and he gave up 80 receptions, which was the most in the league on those 114. Bro, he gave up 12.3 yards per reception. And he goes, check this one out, 1.24 average yards of separation and allowed a quarterback rating of 106.9 against him. And he gave up 5 touchdowns. I'm not giving that $9.5 million, bro. I'm need him. No. Shout out to his Mama Dukes for hitting your boy with the follow on Twitter today. And I'm rolling with Noah Igbenogany because you took him at 30. If the guy gets less handsy and learns to turn his head around and gets better ball instincts, you might have something special there. Why am I going and paying $9.5 million for Logan Ryan? And why am I even thinking about putting my free safety when he's a natural corner and he's been getting roasted? Exactly. I'm good, bro. I am good.
I agree. I'm hoping these articles linking the Miami Dolphins to potentially signing him turns out to be fake news, because I just don't understand. I don't get it. I would rather address if that money is burning their pockets up, give that money to Jadeveon Clowney. You know what I mean? If you don't want to spend it on Wolford, give it to Clowney.
For 1 year. 1 year.
For 1 year. If that money is itching in your pocket like that, bro, you're itching to spend $10 million. Go give it to Jadeveon Clowney.
I'm taking Warford over Clowney or Logan Ryan, and I ain't even thinking twice. At $7 million, if I got to pay $8 or $9 million, hey, last I checked, between the three of them, he's the only guy coming off 3 straight Pro Bowls. Holla at me, bro. So, exactly. I mean, that's not a question, right?
I don't get this one. I really don't understand this one, but we'll see. Hopefully this turns out to be fake news. So,
bro, like, geez, we don't need that, bro.
I don't understand this one, bro.
All right, so let's get into our top 5 questions, biggest questions heading into training camp. And guys, we'll take some of you on after we go through these, and we'll get your thoughts on some of these questions. So that all being said, who will be our starting free safety and nickelback by the end of camp, EM?
Hopefully it's not Bobby McCain. Hopefully
it's Colbert.
I really do think with the extension they gave him, I think he will have an equal opportunity to earn that job. I really do.
He's athletic enough. He's got the profile.
Oh yeah, love his athleticism. One of the more athletic guys on the entire roster. Just young, still learning the position, still needs refinement. But if he shores up his tackling issues, which hopefully he does that. He's working on that in the offseason. But again, the athletic profile is there. He's hopefully his second year in the system. He's working on his craft. He's getting better. He's in the film room. I think I really like Colbert, and I think Miami is content at this point to go into camp with him as a starter. I really believe that, because again, the further investment, the contract they gave him, that tells me there's a level of confidence there. So anybody but Bobby McCain. I don't understand why even Bobby McCain. I don't even understand why even Bobby McCain is on the roster at this point, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, I like Colbert. I like his overall game. I like his ceiling. So hopefully that comes to fruition, and he turns out to develop. And again, we don't need Earl Thomas back there with the corners, with the presence of Xavier Howard and Byron Jones on the perimeter. Man, I'm telling you, any safety now, their reads will be somewhat simplified, because you have to, with those two on the perimeter, you don't have to devote so much attention to them per se. You know what I mean? Because of, again, they're two of the more elite corners in the league. Your reads will be simplified to your focus should be really on the middle of the field, the intermediate area of the field, in identifying run plays. So in theory, it should be just, again, their presence should simplify things for any safety back there, and that includes Eric Rowe as well. So we'll see how that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. But I'm hoping Adrian Colbert not only I hope he turns out to be a decent player for us. I really do. But I think the coaching staff there's a level of confidence there. Obviously, the contract, they think he's worth a further investment. So we'll see.
And I mean, there could be cut candidates that hit the market during training camp too, right? You never know.
Absolutely.
So who's our slot corner? Who's our nickel?
Man, these are tough questions, Reason, bro. Man.
Because I mean,
again,
does Colbert force McCain back to there competing with? Because it's going to be Noah, like Needham, what's going to be going on there?
Well, I hope that forces Bobby McCain off the roster.
It might be too packed, bro. Because I think that's going to be they're going to be trying to get as many snaps as they can for Noah and Needham because Needham earned them and Noah needs them.
Exactly. I think they offer way more value than Bobby McCain in the slot, bro. I really do. I think they're versatile. Again, I think on previous streams on a couple of streams ago, I talked about how we as Dolphin fans, we need to stop trying to relegate and boxing an individual into that position per se, because the secondary, it's so fluid. It's everybody's interchangeable. Again, our approach, if you base off what New England does and based off what we did last year to some degree, and basically what he's alluded to in previous previous press conferences, everything is all about, it will be matchup based. So you might see Byron Jones relegated to the slot some weeks. You might see Xavier Howard. You might see Needham. You might see Noah. So, but with that being said, if you want to just say, well, who's, for
number three
for this conversation,
people think that that's the number 3 guy.
Right. I will put my money based off what Needham did last year, because if you go and look, especially once Xavier Howard went down last year, Needham was taking the opposing team's number 1 wide receiver. Yeah. He was doing that, and he played extremely well, especially considering an undrafted free agent to come in and to hold down and play. And again, he played I think for an undrafted player, he played extremely well, bro. Go put on the Indianapolis tape when he was locked up on T.Y. Hilton that entire game. T.Y. Hilton is a top 10, 12 receiver all day, any year. You know what I mean? Look at with Buffalo when he was locked up on John Brown. You know what I mean? So he had a lot of success last year, I thought. So I think for that, like you said, he earned it. Yeah. So I think Needham if we're talking about this today, I think Needham would be that number 3 guy, and Noah will be that number 4 guy. But again, I think the approach this year, the Dolphins are going to take in terms of the deployment of their secondary, I think they're going to try to get all 4 of those corners on the field as much as possible.
The exotic packages.
So we'll see how that turns out.
You basically agree to that Brandon Jones is the strong safety replacement one day of Eric Rowe, right? So let me ask you this. The possibility of Needham battling for the free safety spot?
I've heard a lot of people throw that out there. I don't know if Needham has had experience at free safety. I've been trying to look that up, but I haven't found anything tangible that would state that Needham has had experience at free safety. But the profile is there. Obviously, his ability to tackle. How good of a tackler he is in open field. Like I said, the profile is there. That might be on the table. You know how Flores and Bill Belichick, Flores, they love to convert those corners to safeties. You know what I mean? So I could see that that might be a possibility. That's something we haven't heard, up to this point that's something they might be thinking about, and that might be by design. You know what I mean? So yeah. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly, bro.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, we'll see. I would entertain that. I really would. I really would. But again, like I said, I don't know if Needham or Noah for that matter, if they have, experience playing free safety. But I know Byron Jones does. Yeah. I know. I fully expect to see Byron Jones back there at some point based on the matchups. So.
All right, so sticking with the secondary then, EM. Will Xavier Howard be back in pre-injury form?
You know what? I'm not I gotta ride with my boy. We all know how I love Xavier Howard. I am fully expecting Xavier Howard to come back and return to his 2018 Pro Bowl form. Mm-hmm. I fully expect us to see maybe even the best version of Xavier Howard. I think just the presence of Byron Jones alone, because I fully expect them to put Byron Jones for the most part. He'll get the most reps shadowing the opposing team's number one receiver.
Yep.
So that alone right there will help Xavier Howard, because if he's taking the number one guy, X will be on your number two guy. So Xavier Howard matched up on the opposing team's number two wide receiver, I'm gonna take that all day, every day, especially if he's healthy. So yeah. I think we might even see the best version of himself, an improved pass rush. Hopefully we improve in the run. You know what I mean? And we can force teams to third and long situations. We got an improved pass rush. So in theory, on paper, that alone should help him. So I fully expect to see, but again, it's all about his health with me. It's all about his health. So if he's healthy, and I've seen clips of him on Instagram working out. That dude looks incredible. He looks incredible. He looks like he's on a mission. He looks like he's determined, and he knows.
So does Needham, bro. So does
Nick. Nick, the homie does too, bro. The homie does too. So, but Xavier Howard knows when they selected this kid 30th overall, okay, all eyes shifted to him.
Yeah.
Because Needham's second year, they just signed Byron Jones. All eyes have shifted to Xavier Howard. And so he's got Needham and this young kid pushing him. So I'm hoping he takes that as motivation. And again, from what he looks like on his IG posts and Twitter posts, he looks like he's taking his motivation. So I fully expect us in 2020 to see the best version of Xavier Howard. I really do.
I think the reason why a lot of people are excited about the Byron,
which is scary, which is scary, which is a nightmare for opposing offenses, bro.
I think one of the reasons that people are most excited about the Byron Jones signing is because they know the ceiling of Xavier Howard is so high, and we haven't even seen it yet, right? And a lot of people they salivate at the chance of pairing him with the guy like Byron Jones because of what you said. He was doing a well enough task in that Pro Bowl year of he would get caught pinching a little bit here and there, but for the most part, he was doing a great job on lockdown in that Pro Bowl year, but he's also, right, his ball instincts are top notch. So he was producing in terms of turnovers as well. And now the fact that, you alluded to it, that you're going to lock this guy up against a number two, like that's going to, that's why I'm saying I think Noah playing slot, that slot corner and that press man, I think he's going to get a lot of reps because a lot of third reads are going to be looked towards, when your first read is against Byron and your second read is against Xavier. And now you're coming back to your third read and it's a number 30 overall pick. And then your fourth read is covered by Nick Needham, who was one of our best players last year. Like that, when you put that into that perspective, bro, that's kind of scary, man.
Oh, absolutely. And look at the, like I said, one thing I'm looking for this year is the creativity when they get all of these guys on the field, look at how you can just man up on the outside with Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, and you can double everybody else. You know what I mean? So, I mean, man, because again, I go back to that when New England played Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, 2 years ago, when how they had Stephon Gilmore. They doubled Travis Kelce and they doubled Tyreek Hill, but they manned up everybody else. They had, Stephon Gilmore on like the second wide receiver, their second best wide receiver, Sammy Watkins, and they had, their other corner matched up on their third wide receiver. And, they doubled Tyreek Hill and they doubled Travis Kelce, and you saw how that worked out. So, again, but you have to have the guys – you got to have the guys that can cover. You know what I mean? So, and we obviously have that. We have two of the best, in my opinion. Byron Jones, his resume speaks for itself. Xavier Howard, we all know as Dolphin fans how good this guy can be. I'm telling you, that's one of the things I'm looking for this year is the different exotic looks that they're going to be able to throw at opposing offenses.
So, on the offensive side of the ball, how will our receiving core shake out by the end of camp in terms of who ain't going to make the cut, basically, because we got a loaded room right now?
Man, hopefully, I'm definitely going to be paying attention to Preston Williams. I mean, not that he's any threat to be cut, but I'm just saying I'm hoping he comes. I'm looking to see him return, him come back fully healthy. Also, all this time, one thing that I'm concerned about with him, just based off his pre-draft, what went into his pre-draft evaluation, there were questions about work ethic. There were quiet questions, a few questions. There were questions about, off the field issues or whatever. Hopefully he's put all of that behind him, and him with all this time, him, number one, being away from the field, during his rehabilitation process, but this additional time of what's going on in the world, hopefully this kid has stayed, focused, and he's been putting the work in to get back to where he was. So I'll be paying attention to him closely, this summer, hopefully, once things get back to normal. But yeah, man,
like when you look at we look at Kirk Merritt and we look at Matt Cole, and I guess it depends on what you want to list Malcolm Perry as. I know they have him listed as a running back right now, but when you look at how this is shaking up, man, my top, if I'm carrying six guys, I'm looking at Devontae, obviously. I'm looking at Preston, obviously. I'm looking at Albert Wilson, obviously. I'm looking at Jakeem because what he can offer me on special teams, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at Kirk Merritt. I'm looking at Matt Cole, man, like Isaiah Ford, Alan Hearns, etc. I mean, I appreciate the effort. I hope you enjoyed your stay in Miami. It's just like when I look at the six, that's just, I don't see us carrying 7 or 8 receivers.
I don't either. Again, I agree with everyone. I just find it hard to believe too. And again, and I'm saying that I say that, I was going to say that it's difficult for me to envision 2 undrafted wide receivers coming in and making the.
And if I'm carrying a 7th receiver, bro, it's because I listed Malcolm Perry as a receiver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. We might strike gold again, because you saw what Preston Williams did last year. Came out of nowhere, and was a starter and produced up until he got hurt. But I don't know, man. I agree with everybody. I think obviously Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Albert Wilson, those 3 guys are a lock in my opinion. But everybody else, that's a fluid situation, man. I personally, again, for the majority of our fan base might not be aware of my guy Matt Collins. I've been high on this kid since 2017 when he got drafted. I was hoping that Miami would have selected him at some point in that draft, but I love that kid's profile. I mean, ultra athletic, 6'5", 225 pounds, 4.49 speed. He just can't stay healthy. He just, ever since he's been in the NFL, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. But I think his, again, athletic kid, I get.
If the most wide receiver, I would say arguably the most wide receiver desperate team in the NFL cuts you, I don't like your chances going up against what we have right now, bro.
Well, okay, I hear you, man. I hear you. That's legitimate. That's a legitimate argument. But the kid is athleticism. You can't deny that. So I'm hoping.
But I think it's because they've looked at him in terms of an injury bug, and they just, I don't think he produced enough. Because like I said, I watched Eagle games, right? So I just didn't. You didn't see enough from the kid, even when he was healthy, to continue the further investment of making it through and trucking through and grudging through his injuries. So I get it. It just looks it looks like that room's too loaded, brother. Like, you know what I mean?
I think Allen Hurns and Isaiah Ford are two players that need to seriously, start. They need either ramp it up or start looking employment elsewhere, because I think those two spots, I think those two players, they might be the ones wind up being phased out. I think if these two undrafted rookies, come in and prove themselves, because I think, again, if it was me, I'm keeping Matt Collins, but again, the staff, our coaching staff might not be as high on Matt Collins, maybe not, but I'm just saying in my opinion. But with that being said, I think Allen Hurns and Isaiah Ford, bro, if these two undrafted rookies come in and show that they can, that they prove themselves, I think those two, they might wind up being ultimately phased out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the more interesting battles that we're excited about to watch at training camp, pardon me, is the right side of the offensive line, bro. So you got to ask yourself, who is our starting right guard and our starting right tackle by the end of the battle at the right side in camp?
Hopefully it's Warford and Hunt, bro. Hopefully, but as of today, I think that's a good question as well, bro. Well, I will say this. As we're sitting here today, it'll be Jesse Davis and Hunt. It just depends on which spots. Whichever one wins the right tackle position, that person by default will be kicked inside the right guard. So, but those will be, as we're sitting here today, they will be the two starters.
So you don't think that guy like Solomon Kinley stands a chance?
No. I don't think so.
Well, that was fairly easy. All right. So let's get to the real one, the final one. Tua win the starting role.
Man, I don't think so. I think, again, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick, number one, he earned the right to be the starter going into this year. And I personally think the best of Fitzpatrick is ahead of him. He said that. I saw Travis Wingfield's post on Twitter earlier where Fitz they were talking about it in an interview. I guess Travis was going through his film and breaking down his film today. But he mentioned that they had interviewed him earlier, maybe some weeks back, and he said he honestly feels his best football is ahead of him. I believe that, bro. I'm telling you, I really am impressed with what Fitz did last year, with what, with that offensive line and what, under duress, the most pressured quarterback probably in the last 40 years of the NFL. You know what I mean? I think, again, with the improvement that they brought in free agency and the draft up front, I'm telling you, I think I think we could see a much better version of Ryan Fitzpatrick this year. Will he come out and throw 50 touchdowns? Probably not. But again, I'm looking for him to be just disciplined and efficient on third down. And I think, again, if we get him a running game, if we have some, if we just improve marginally, in the running game, and again, get some stability up front where this kid is not, he don't have pressure in his face, every 1.5 second. You know what I mean? We actually have people that can block and hold the point. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, I think that we can get more out of Fitzpatrick. So with that being said, I think the approach with Tua, again, as long as we're winning and Fitzpatrick is playing, and Tua could be flashing in camp and in practice, and they're like, he's just, he's blowing everybody away. And I fully anticipate that. But as long as we're winning and Fitzpatrick is not, and he's, again, disciplined and efficient on third down, I think Tua, we won't see Tua this year. We might see him at some point where, again, my ideal situation would be to take the Kansas City approach, the approach that they took with Patrick Mahomes. I could see that, but hopefully, that's two things. If Fitzpatrick is performing well, that normally, that means we're winning. So with that being said, as much as I want to see Tua, and I have to check myself in that regard because I'm so eagerly anticipating this kid getting on the field. But again, I think Fitzpatrick earned it. And until Fitzpatrick fumbles that baton, I don't want to see Tua in a extensive role. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather him sit, learn. And again, if we are going to sprinkle him in at some point, integrate him at some point, I would rather take the Kansas City Chiefs approach that they took with Mahomes.
And I agree with you, but we're fully expecting it, bro. We're expecting him to shine a little in training camp because of, like we keep alluding to, with the RPO being implemented and all that kind of jazz, the changes that are going to be happening to that offense. It just kind of seems like, I don't know, man. It almost seems like they hired Chan Gilly and they started instilling this stuff with Tua in mind.
But I agree. But I look at it like this in terms of Fitzpatrick. And one thing that Travis alluded to in his Twitter post today, he sees a lot of similarities in Tua's game that he does see in Fitzpatrick's. Tua is just a much more talented version of him. You know what I mean? So a much more disciplined and talented version. But anything Tua in terms of the RPO, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he offers that as well. He can do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think he can do it nearly as effectively. But...
Oh, no. Not many can. But he can still offer that. You don't have to change. You won't have to change really in terms of your scheme much of anything because he offers the same attributes as Tua. So it's just he's right-handed, he's left-handed. Tua's left-handed. Tua's just, again, much more disciplined and much more talented version of Ryan Fitzpatrick. So,
and I agree. I think Fitzpatrick's earned the starting role, but even though I don't want to see it, I'm coming to believe more and more that we're gonna see him this year for sure.
Yeah, and again, I won't be crying. I will not be upset at all. I want to see Tua. But I just think I don't want to see – number one, I want to make sure he's healthy, his health. That's it. Mm-hmm. If the doctors give him –
like I said before, I don't think Flores is going to put him out there unless he has 110% clean bill of health.
Yeah. I just want to make sure Tua is as healthy as possible. Now, once that's been declared, whatever week that is, the doctors knock on Flores' door and say, look, bro, he's good to go. That could be week 2, week 3, week 4, week 13. If Tua is outperforming everyone in practice and he gives us the best chance to win, well, put him out there, bro. Put him out there.
Well, yeah, especially like if we're in a position where we have a positive, right? Where we're 8-3, 8-4, 7-3, and man, you see Fitzmagic for 2 straight games, and that 8-3 or 7-3 turns into 7-5 or 8-5, or he gets injured. The next man up to give you the best chance to continue your winning ways would be probably not probably will be Tua Tagovailoa, and that's a reason why you might also see him too, right? So especially if you don't want the season to go by waste and you start seeing a couple of games if it's tragic, and you're 8-3 is trying to do an 8-5, what do? Do you pull the trigger?
I mean, but again, even if we don't see Fitztragic, if Tua is healthy and this kid is blowing the competition away in practice, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If he is just destroying everybody else in that quarterback room, you know what I mean? I'm not going to wait and see, I'm not going to wait for Fitztragic to rear its ugly head. I'm not waiting. If he gives us the best chance to win, and Flores, he's adamant about that. We go by. We don't necessarily need to have you on the field on Sunday to get a firm evaluation of you. We see you every single day. If Tua is blowing them away, I don't care. As long as he's healthy, if the doctors give him Tua is as healthy as he possibly can be, and he's blowing the competition away, no, I'm sorry, bro. I'm putting him out there, and I'm riding with him because he gives us the best chance to win. Yeah. He gives us the best chance to win. So only in that scenario.
Bro, I'm telling you, that Raiders game, that's going to be time. You know why they left that to be determined time up is if Tua is starting, we're going to be in prime time for that game on the.
I know, right? Oh, absolutely.
I'm telling you right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you right now, if they knew for sure Burrow, which they should already know, and Tua were starting, that Bengals Dolphins game would be prime time too, buddy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If Tua's starting by that point, if they're both starting, we will be at the center of the football universe for that week for sure. So,
and I definitely don't think moving forward after this year, the lack of primetime games, I don't think that'll be an issue anymore.
Hey,
I don't think that's going to be an issue anymore, bro.
What did I say months and months ago? What did I say, EM, on TD's platform? What did I say months and months ago? I said we would be getting arguably the most marketable face to come into the NFL in years, and it's already coming to fruition. Yeah. Okay,
he's box office, bro.
Oh, I love it.
He's box office.
I love it.
He's box office.
All right, so let's take a few people on. Let's start it off.
Cool.
What's going on, Sharif?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Sharif, what's good, man?
Fans? Everything's great, man. Everything's wonderful. This is a great topic. This is an awesome topic. I can even bounce off of what we were talking about the last stream in terms of how short the game would be, and all of the times we had to come back, and I appreciate how you and EM preach to watch film, and I also realized a couple of streams back you mentioned reason that you can go to a particular site where you can get not the coaches, you can get the coaches film, but you won't be able to get the official each snaps from the NFL that each coach of the team has. But what I did do was I watched all the games again because they're right there, and what I looked for particularly is with the addition of the Calhoun, Kinley, Eric Flowers. What I'm looking for is, will we have time of possession? Will it go from 26 to 36, from 26 to 40? If we're averaging that 30 possession time during the game, it may be ugly, but Fitzpatrick will get off his play actions in time because you guys could remember Fitzpatrick will play action even after we get a 7-yard run, 5-yard run. You could not even sell a play action because teams knew we didn't have a running game. So when Fitz play action, he would play action and then he would scramble right around into the sack. So what I'm looking for this year, based on the list of changes and expectations for right guard and right tackle, I can see Austin Jackson, Flowers, Karras, Calhoun, and Robert Hunt. And Dolphins, the reason why I say Calhoun because he never lost his job. He in fact took that job, and so he hasn't lost it yet. Based on his posts on his social media in his off season, I think he's had one of the best off seasons as a Dolphin. So, and I think he knows he still has the job, and so and it'll also show that Greer picked uh, a candidate to be a good player for us because if Calhoun, ascends, who knows, what Dieter may be able to do or any other pick that Greer is depending on. So I want to see Calhoun do well, but I think he is the candidate to outshine anyone right now in terms of progression into his second year. What do you guys think?
So I think he was at guard mainly because, well, that's Jesse Davis's natural position, and Jesse Davis went out to tackle basically because of a need at that position. And I think the fact that Jesse Davis showed improvement later on in the season as he's playing right tackle is harder to play than right guard. And he showed improvement, and I think that makes him even more of a viable candidate because it sounds like they are going to go with Robert Hunt at right tackle. I think that he makes it even more of a viable candidate to kick him back at his natural position, get him into the rhythm of the game. Because if something happens with Hunt, Jesse Davis he's back into the rhythm of the game. He's got snaps under his belt, and then it's easier to kick him back out to right tackle as opposed to some guy who's been cold. So I think that battle is going to be between. I think what Ian said earlier is dead on. It's going to be as it stands right now, unless we get Larry Warford. I think it's going to stand at right tackle and right guard are going to be Hunt and Jesse Davis. Choose whichever one you want to plug in where, depending on how they do. But, when we were talking about Warford on the last stream, we talked about the run game and how he would help the run game. And when we talked about one of the reasons we brought up, and I specifically brought it up, was the play action because I said it allows you, if we can establish that run game that we haven't had when we were talking about Breida and Howard last stream, I said, it opens up the playbook for you. And I specifically mentioned, play actions become more effective because they got to honor the run, right?
Yes.
If you're got a guy out there averaging 1.7 yards per carry, they're not gonna honor the run. So if you put
that's gonna definitely.
And I think the thing is they're gonna have to also with Breida and Howard, they're gonna have to honor the run, but they're also gonna have to be wary of screens and such out of the backfield, especially when Breida's out there too. So it adds a diversity we didn't have last year.
Right,
which is why I think I fully anticipate Ryan Fitzpatrick to have a better year than what he had last year.
Yeah,
that play action, teams honor that run game. That play action, that's going to create space, especially in the intermediate part of the field. And I'm telling you, Mike Gesicki should eat all day this year if we can establish a run game, because that play action, that's going to create all kind of space in that part of the field. Him running that seam route, it's going to be open all day if we can establish a running game. So
and I guess what I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to the offensive line being able, because like I said, I watched the games and when Fitzpatrick play action, normally we play action to bootleg and come around to the right back around to the left side. And when he play actions to the right to bootleg back around to the left, the sacker is right in his face. And this is almost 75% of the times of the Dolphins play action rollouts. So I guess what I'm saying.
Well, that's why. I mean, one of the reasons why you saw, people will be like, it was more than just the offensive line. Like, Fitzpatrick had the same terrible offensive line as Josh Rosen. He also had, I pulled up the stats yesterday. He had the fourth most drops in the NFL. Ryan Fitzpatrick had at 31, right? So the problem was why he succeeded and why Rosen didn't. One of the two main points were he's a better decision maker. 3 points. He's a better decision maker. He's better at making quicker decisions than Josh Rosen is. And he can read disguise coverages better. He can read the post-snap, pre-snap coverages better. He just knows a little bit more what to expect. That's why you saw more success from him than a guy like Rosen, right? Because Rosen, I've gone before. He's not a good process, especially with when you throw disguise. If what happens post-snap is totally different than what Josh Rosen sees pre-snap, you've probably won that down against him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what I noticed what Fitzpatrick did, Dolphins, is that I seen this watching from game 1 to game 17. He realized that I don't have a good offensive line. So it's not to make the offensive line look any better. It's to get the play off because pressure will be in my face.
Yeah.
Hands will be up within 2 seconds of our line last year.
Your pre-snap reads
1.5.
When you have a bad offensive line, when you have your pre-snap reads mean that much more when you have a bad offensive line.
Exactly.
You got to basically identify. You got to identify from what you see pre-snap. Okay, who looks like he's going to be open. And then you got to also identify how could this coverage change post-snap, and if that changes, who's going to be open if I see this look. And you can't, and because you don't have the time, you got to know you got to start processing the majority of that information before you snap the ball.
Right.
And
you got to rely on his 50 ball.
And his improvisation as well.
Yeah.
That I can't emphasize that enough as well. With his game, again, that's what Travis alluded to on Twitter. The navigation within the pocket, his escapability, his improvisation. You know what I mean? Is on par. You see a lot of similarities with Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick. But again, hopefully, I want to see less improvisation. I want to see more structure. I want to see more on scheduled plays. And the only way he can do that unless they hold up front. If they can hold up and actually give this kid time to survey the field, you know what I mean? Anybody, him, Tua, or whoever, if they can just give him time to survey the field, and the offense is more on schedule. Because again, how you just destroy teams. See, people look at Lamar Jackson, I talk about this all the time about Lamar Jackson. Nothing but respect for that kid, the league MVP. But until Lamar Jackson, is more structured and he can decimate teams on the on-schedule plays as opposed to his improvisation, Baltimore will have a ceiling in terms of their overall team success. Because what kills teams is when you force teams to prepare for the on-schedule and the structure of the offense, when you force teams to prepare you for that, i.e. the run game and the passing game, but then when you force them to commit to that aspect of your offense, that's when you come with the improvisation and you just decimating gut teams. But if you constantly relying on improvisation, you're playing into the defense's hands.
Yeah,
you are playing into the defense's hands. So again,
we talked about that too, EM. What was the look that they figured out? It was figured out in Lamar's first year, right, against the Patriots in the playoffs. What was the look? Just go a bunch of defensive backs, just throw full defensive backs out there.
Exactly.
So if he does improvise, you got guys that are athletic enough and quick
They're
enough.
running them down. And you look at Tennessee, the Titans deployed that same strategy.
That's it. They've already
in the playoffs.
What's crazy is how many games did he only play? 5 or 6 games before they went to the playoffs? The tape was already out on him. That's why I told people. That's why I've told people. A worry I have is if Tua comes in late of the season, the playoffs are a different beast, man. The playoffs are teams prepare a different way. So I mean, but
see again.
Utilize them in. It's already become the blueprint that's worked multiple years in a row.
And see, that's why Tua. That's why I'm so
great job, and I'll let someone else get in. And Dolphins,
always a pleasure, Sharif.
Take care.
Always a pleasure, homie.
Hey guys, don't be afraid to hop in backyards. We only had 2 people come backstage tonight, so if anyone else wants to get back in here and talk about the questions and stuff we went over, or Dolphins talk in general, hit the StreamYard link right now. Because
Absolutely.
Havoc, you are the last person backstage.
Let's get in, fellas.
What's going on?
Havoc, what's good, homie?
Oh, what's going on, man? Here to get this Dolphins talk in, you know?
I hear you. I hear you.
Oh man, I think so many things to go through today. Everyone's really anxious. Everyone wants to know what Logan Ryan wants to do. What's Warford gonna do? But you know, if I'm really looking at the situation, you know, Logan Ryan is more of a cherry on top type of. We need to fill this need to really get our playoff structure, our Super Bowl type structured team together. You know, at $9.5 million for a guy who's not actually a safety, a guy who can play safety, but he's not actually a safety. $9.5 million. We spent, you know, $15 million on Rashad Jones. I mean, we can't do that again. In regards to, you know, a guy like Warford, if we can get him at $7 million a year, I say we get him because you know, I like Kinley, you know, but I would like him to be a reserve his first year and maybe have an opportunity his second year, as opposed to maybe throwing him in the first year and seeing what happens. And also, you know, Warford can be that guy that can set the tone, you know, set the tone of excellence. He's a guy that has lived that life for the past 3 years as the tone setter of the Saints offensive line. So if we can get him to come in and just be the guy, be the rock, you know, not just a veteran, but the actual the best dude on the line and set that tone early, I think that'd be huge for Hunt, particularly because they'll both be on the same side. I think that'll be huge for the whole O-line because, you know, until the rookies come into their own, you know, Karras is good. He's solid, but not spectacular. Flowers, we overpaid for him. He's solid. He could probably be more solid if he really comes into his own as a left guard. But, you know, at $10 million a year, we paid a lot for him, but he's probably not really going to be a Pro Bowl type guy. So Warford can set that tone. You know, maybe Austin Jackson, Robert Hunt, they can take the ball and run with it. That's why I'd be behind a Warford move right now. Clowney, Clowney's a lot of money for a dude with superstar potential who can give you superstar production. I think with Clowney, he gives you superstar production when you need it, not all the time. And at that number, which he's like looking at 16, 17 million a season, like if the bow was on top of the present and Clowney's out there and it makes sense, that's the move. But for right now, I don't know if Clowney's that guy. So much to go through.
I think I only brought up Jadeveon Clowney. I was coming from, I was basically saying that if Miami is so eager to spend that money, if it's burning up their pockets like that, I would rather invest that money in Clowney as opposed to Logan Ryan. And as far as Logan Ryan being a cherry on top, that's a rotten cherry. That's not a good one. I'm taking that one off. I'm taking that one off my ice cream and I'm throwing it in the trash, bro. I want no part of Logan Ryan, bro. No part at all, homie. So, but I would much rather. He eyed. But again.
Well, let me just remind everyone.
I see the fit.
Let me remind everyone. Havoc just said he's high. So he was targeting 114 times last year, and he gave up 80 receptions on those. He gave up 12.3 yards per reception. Here's a key stat. He gave up 1.24 average yards of separation per route and allowed a QB rating of 106.9, and he gave up 5 touchdowns last year. So, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm not going to pay someone $9.5 million.
No,
you're getting roasted.
You let me finish. I said he's solid in Madden, not in real life. No. In Madden, he's real solid.
Yeah.
In real life, perhaps that's a lot to pay for a guy.
We don't really
need him too much. At the DB position. Our DB position is looking really nice. It's the safety position where we could use a real guy.
Yeah.
That's why I said the EM earlier.
But again, in terms of safety, I'd rather wait until
trade 2 draft picks for Justin Simmons.
That's a move. That's a
Nah.
move. That's a move.
I love Justin Simmons. But I'm not giving up them first round picks next year. I just think
don't give up both. You give up one.
But even then, bro, you got to pay him. That's another $15 million check you're going to have to write, bro.
He's so young.
That's another $15 million. I get it. I love the kid. It's no reflection on the kid as a player. It's just the first round pick in addition to paying him. So I would rather in terms of the free safety position, I would rather wait and see who shakes loose from a different team, who gets cut, because there's going to be a ton of movement here in the next couple months. So I would wait because I'm looking for depth right now. I'm not necessarily looking for a starter unless we find somebody like a can't miss guy that gets, that gets cut or whatnot. But yeah, I think, I'm comfortable with well, I'm not gonna say.
I don't say you're comfortable with McCain. Nobody's comfortable with McCain.
Oh,
all right, we will tolerate McCain.
Colbert.
Yeah. Oh, Colbert.
No. Oh, hell no. Hell no, Colbert. Hell no. I'm trying to get Bobby McCain. I'm trying to print his ticket off as soon as possible, bro. But Colbert, I think we need we need one more depth piece in terms of the safety position. So I'm waiting until somebody gets cut, and there's gonna be a ton of movement here in the next couple of months. So
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but it looks like Colbert may be, a looks the part all-star. He looked the part in Seattle, but then it seems like the coaches get a look at him up front, and things seem to go down here. And you look at his profile, look at his speed. He should be a dude that should be a lock in any secondary. But for some reason,
but look, you remember Seattle I don't think didn't cut him. We got him off their practice squad.
Okay.
They didn't cut him. We poached him off their practice squad. So if I'm correct, and I'm about 98% sure of that.
Okay, maybe they put him down there, try to let him marinate, see what comes up a little bit. But as a guy that's, projected as a backup dude, realistically, I mean, probably Brandon Jones is not really the guy we're looking for at strong safety unless something really, unusual happens. It's probably going to be Eric Rowe, and that's the guy they like. That's the guy that knows their system real well. He can probably be a little bit of a quarterback back there. But our DB situation is looking solid. To be honest, all of our situations are looking solid. Where did you say we were getting players from last year, EM? Where were we getting from the Lowe's?
Lowe's, Home Depot. I think they even found one stocking shelves at Kroger overnight. I think, so yeah, they were bringing them in they were getting them from everywhere, bro. We're
at a point where we could look at an Adrian Colbert and say, hey, we may be able to get off this stock. We may be able to get off this Michael Dieter stock. I know we invested a 3rd round pick in him, but we may be able to get off this stock. So right now it's just about the growth.
And Havoc, that's all we need. Yeah,
100%.
and look, and hey, Havoc, all we need is my goal coming into this offseason was just to build a solid, well-rounded, balanced roster. And they've done that. Yeah. They've done an extremely good job through free agency and the draft of doing that. Look at the depth. We're a much deeper team now. And guys that fit the scheme that what he wants to do on both sides of the football. And I think kudos to the front office on paper now. They have to go out and perform on the field. That's another beast. That's a different animal. But on paper, they have done a tremendous job of that, in my opinion.
Yeah. X marks the spot on the DBs, particularly Xavier Howard. He's got the burning hot red light on him right now because he's getting when he got his contract, he was getting more money than any DB ever in history when they gave him his contract. And right now he's slotted to be the number 2 guy, and he'll be the number 2 guy if he can hold on to it. It's really a situation with him where what X-Man are we going to get? Even if, hopefully he's on the field, but if he's on the field, if he's that, kind of like an upgraded Terrell Buckley, just like a playmaking dude, but with more physical characteristics. Can he be that guy? Then it's a great move. That is an amazing combination. It's a top 5 duo, if that's what Howard can be. But if he is the guy that's battling injuries, can't really make his way on the field when he's on the field, he doesn't look quite right. It's like, what X-Man are we going to get? Are we going to get the Wolverine coming through, slashing, ripping things up? We're going to get Jubilee, coming through with the fireworks. Not exactly what you need in an emergency. We need Wolverine. We don't need Jubilee.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm looking at. And as far as Tua, people are asking when's Tua going to be named the starter. Tua is the starter right now. They just have him plastic wrapped, but he is the starter right now. Everyone else is on notice. You're on borrowed time. This is Tua's job.
Yeah.
We're just trying to plastic wrap him and do the responsible thing until our O-line gels up. Once our O-line situation is really gelled up, we'll put him out there. Maybe, do a little Mahomes thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. Quick question. What do you think Tua's Madden rating is going to be out the gate?
I think they're going to give him a 77. I think they'll give him a 77 because his short and medium accuracy is going to be on point from the jump. So yeah.
He should have around 81, 82 speed, maybe.
I think that's reasonable. That's reasonable, man. Just they're going to give him the high entry rating too, but
What do you think his throwing power is going to be? I hope they don't give that dude. I hope they don't mess him over with his throwing power. They better give him at least a 90, bro. They better give him a 90 throwing power at least. Because Rosen has got an 89. So Tua is definitely got a much stronger arm than his. He better get at least a 90, I know.
I'm
gonna be mad as hell.
No one's really ever spoken poorly about Rosen's arm. I mean, Rosen's arm is the reason why he is in every room that he's been in the past few years is because of his arm. But it's the rest of Rosen that people have the issue with. The problem is you can't disconnect it. But I'm looking forward to Tua. I'm playing Madden right now. I'm using Tua. He's a monster. So just projecting. Hopefully going forward, that's how it looks.
But did you open the Ultimate Pack or did you download one of the?
I go even deeper. I do my research. I get the custom roster, download that, load it up into the franchise mode. So,
that's what I said. Did you download it?
Yeah, download it.
You can actually get him in a card pack on Madden Ultimate Team.
I'm not a MUT guy. I'm a
franchise
guy.
I went on when they released them. They gave me a free draft pack. So, bro, I opened it. I got CeeDee Lamb. They give you 3. I got CeeDee Lamb, Isaiah Simmons, and guess who I got?
Did you get Tua?
Justin Herbert, bro.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Boy, talk about another. Go for it.
I bet that dude is gonna have like a 98 arm. I'm sure.
Herbert. All the top 10 guys, like even CeeDee Lamb was like a 95. Isaiah Simmons was like a 96. Herbert was like a 95. I'm guessing I saw Tua. You can go buy him. Like people are auctioning him off, and he's like a 96 or a 97.
Okay, I can imagine Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb are going to be 80 overalls, easy out the gate. Yeah, I mean, those guys are already.
Usually quarterbacks aren't in their 80s in their rookie year. Like I actually thought Burrow would be 77, and I project Tua to be like a 75, 76.
Yeah, and that's fair. And there's probably not going to be a whole lot of variance with Tua going into the second year because he's not going to get a ton of playing time. The only thing that's really going to go up with him is probably his awareness. There's just they'll give him that little hitch. But when Tua hits the scene, it's the whole league is going to be on notice. I believe. I don't think they're going to baby it. I think they're really going to let him get it off.
Because guess what? We already got the best quarterback in the AFC East, and he hasn't even played a snap yet.
He hasn't even flown to Miami yet.
No doubt.
I like
No doubt.
especially what you said when you're talking about,
No doubt.
we don't need to think about the Super Bowl. We just need to worry about the AFC East. You know, there it is.
Mhm.
You know, we'll get used to that. We just need to worry about the AFC East because if I am
Mhm.
a player and I'm looking at the horizon, I'm looking at the horizon of the league, and I'm saying, you know, who's on the rise right now? Who's on the rise right now? I'm looking at Miami like, how do I buy that Miami stock right now? Because in about 2 years, that you're gonna be able to cash some chips out.
Mhm.
Hopefully, you know, we're talking about regular playoff runs. You know, we're getting into the mindset of how many pieces do we need, as opposed to, you know, hopefully this is the last widespread rebuild we're gonna have to go through in a while. You know, particularly if you're looking at how the way the cap works out. You know, you're gonna always have to rotate guys in and out. You know, a lot of teams get in trouble when they overpay rotation guys. So you're always gonna have that carousel a little bit. But going forward, I mean, I'm looking forward to them identifying the core guys and keeping them around and keeping that consistency. And then, you know, keep being the gem finders. You know, the gem finder game never ends. Keep finding these UDFAs. Keep finding, you know, the Cam Wakes in Canada. You know, just keep that going. I think with Greer and Flores, who both have a lot of experience as scouts, you know, they're gonna be, I'm telling you, their connection is gonna be so tight. Like I feel like they got the formula, and the league isn't aware of it right now, but they got the formula. But they're gonna be put on notice real soon.
Absolutely.
Real soon.
Absolutely.
But I mean, that's I think those are all my takes though.
Send me that
You know?
Havoc. You on PS4, right?
100%.
Send me that invite.
You know what you guys
My
need
gamer tag is the same.
You know what you guys need to do?
Yeah.
You need to go look at you guys need to go look at what they did for the custom rosters for the PC.
What they did.
Dude, Tua looks exactly like Tua. Burrow looks exactly like Burrow. Like they are freaking. The only one that looks bad is Herbert, but they look so. You can go watch videos on it. I think C4 is the guy. He rolls through it, and dude, you should like Tua looks phenomenal. Like even down to the hair, how he has the little stand up. Like they got all down, bro. Like they all look. A lot of them, like Judy looks good. Leia looks good because on our PS4, some of them kind of look fugazi, right? So
yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think a lot of people who do the creative players, they're going really into the Tua, like how long do you have the black streaks going across and all that stuff.
Yeah,
like people are gonna love customizing Tua. Lefty, man, it's gonna be a good time in the next 2 years, 100%. But also, if I can just talk on a little bit, because you know, just as looking at the status of the franchise a little bit, you know, I think we have to understand that the influx of new talent is going to magnify the current dead weight. And I don't mean to call anybody dead weight, but coming off a year where we had talent-wise the worst team in the league, you know, we got a couple. We were carrying a couple guys that were not NFL quality, and there's always carryover. And right now, you know, I don't see where, you know, Shaq Calhoun fits in. You know, honestly, I don't. You know, they might kick the tires on Dieter, but I don't see where he fits in. You know, I still see the O-line as wide open, in quite a few spots, particularly if you're looking at in depth. You know, Calhoun isn't promised a move there. Dieter isn't promised anything there. You know, the dudes we drafted this year, you know, we're looking at them to start. Possibly not Kinley, but definitely Hunt and Jackson. So the influx of talent is going to magnify the dead weight. It always does. So just when people, you know, talk about, you know, this guy should be starting, this person should be in, you know, just realize, you know, what looked good last year may be deceiving your eyes. You know, last year Taco Charlton was standing up. No one was fooled. no one thought he was going to drop back into coverage and do anything. So we got different pieces. We had the scheme. We're getting guys for the scheme, and going forward, just accept that the roster is going to move over, and guys that you may have liked last year may not be around, and it's all for the better good, is what I would say.
I mean, there's some Josh Rosen fans you need to tell that to.
Bring them sitting in my way, because if they're still on that stock, man, you need to get on. You need to get on Robinhood. You need to get on E-Trade. You need to get on whatever you need to get on. You need to sell that stock.
Man, I wouldn't even trust them with investments or stocks after investing in that.
Yeah. Put your money in Acorns. You're not qualified if you got Josh Rosen stock.
There you go.
you need help, but he's not a bad dude. He just needs.
We've been getting, hey, bro. We've been getting killed the last week, bro, with this Josh Rosen issue. We've been getting killed. People been coming at us, bro.
Bro, I've been hating.
I just don't understand the undying loyalty to this kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say, Javi, before we get this, the next person backstage?
That's it, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
No worries, brother.
Peace.
Have a good one, buddy.
Peace.
Always, homie.
Larry L, what's good, buddy?
Hey guys, how you doing this evening?
We're living.
Okay. Just want to talk about something here that brought my attention when we were chatting about Clowney. Okay. I'm just going to quickly go over the stats with Clowney, and let's see if he's really how much of a value he really is. Now, last year he played 13 games, had 3 sacks and 44 pressures. 2018 he had 9 sacks and 45 pressures. Okay, I'm going to bring that up because last year as a team we had 23.5 sacks and 125 pressures. Okay, now I wrote this down in chat a couple of months ago. Now the 3 guys we got combined has 19.5 sacks and 127 pressures. Okay, think about that. 3 guys, 19.5 sacks, 127 pressures, compared to what Cloudy has, and I broke it down. Van Noy had 7 sacks, 58 pressures last year. Okay. Ogba had 6 sacks and 29 pressures in less than 10 games. And Lawson had 6.5 sacks and 40 pressures. Okay. So my point is Cloudy a good player? Yes. Is he this great player? No. Okay. You're going to be, people are overvalued. There's a reason he's still a free agent right now, because he's overvaluing himself. I guess other GMs are getting smart and saying, wait a second, this guy is not a franchise-changing player. Okay, type deal. Now, let's take a look at Yannick, another one we would like, a lot of us would like. Okay, Yannick in 2017 was his best year. He had 9.5 sacks, 88 pressures. Okay, 2018, 2019, nowhere near as good. Now, he claims because Jacksonville was behind so much, teams weren't passing as much, they were running, which is a fair thing. You could see that clearly, number of pass rush attempts he had. But I just want to bring that up because everybody's talking about Javon Clowney like he's – would I want him on my team? Yes, but not at 17, 18 million a year. No way. No way. I won't give him more than what we gave.
I agree with that to some degree, but I just don't look at Clowney from a pass rushing perspective. You gotta consider his game, his entire game. Clowney is elite, and I mean elite
run defender.
Capitalizing that run defender.
No question.
So you have to, when you're see a lot of what Clowney does, you won't see necessarily in a box score. But again, okay, ideally, the NFL pays. They give out those $17 million contracts to players that can affect the quarterback the most.
Why,
Aaron Donald?
Why, Why do they pay him?
What's that now?
Why do they play the elite pass rushers for?
Well, yeah, because they impact the quarterback the most, and more
Because
frequent.
the
The more
passing
frequent.
league, not necessarily a running.
That's
league.
true.
So
That's true.
a lot of
That's
analysts
true.
has this term of low priority, low value. Well, run defense, to an extent, it's not way low, but it's a lower value because this is a passing league. Okay, so it goes to my point why I will never play Clowney the $17, $18 million a year that the elite players get. Okay.
Well, I think he is somewhat overvaluing himself. I agree with that. But again, I'm not paying him $17 million. I'm just not going to do that.
Yep.
But Clowney, Clowney is a dominant player. People just get caught up in his pass rushing number, his sack total. They get caught up in that too much. You got to consider, you have to evaluate an entire game. When you evaluate his complete game, Clowney is top in terms of disruptors in the passing game and in the run game. He's top 5 all day. So would I pay him? I would like to, if I'm gonna make a $17 million investment, I want to see those pass rush numbers. I want to see his sack total be up in the 12 to 15 range. His pressure rate a lot higher. So but again, Clowney, he is a tremendous run defender. So with that being said, I'm not going to give him $17 million, but
right.
Well,
and I agree.
And how Clowney came up tonight, I didn't necessarily say Miami should go out and get him. I'm just saying, as opposed to paying that $10 million to Logan Ryan, I would rather give it to Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, there's a reason. A reason hit it on the nose. There's a reason why he's still out there, because he's not as good as everybody makes him out to be. If he was this high-end super cornerback, he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be here at this point. Okay, so you're absolutely right. Is it a good cornerback? Yeah, but you know what? We're building our team. I'd rather have put those snaps to a Noah and Needham potential.
I agree.
Than to pay somebody that's just going to be average. And you're paying average, you're taking away snaps. We're rebuilding here, guys. We're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Let's get that in your mind. TD, I'm sorry, I love you. We're not winning the Super Bowl this year. Forget about it. Okay, so let's rebuild. Let's build something. You start that by playing those young players, get them the experience. Okay, now Warford. I'm totally torn on Warford. Okay, I am. Because I see everybody's point about that. I love Warford too. The problem is, I would like to get our young guys playing too. It's just the same situation we're talking about as Logan Ryan. Only he's a better player by far and away, but still, we got these young players. If we're going to sign Warford, I disagree with reasons. It's got to be for a 3-year deal. Okay, that's part of the rebuilding. It's going to be part of that team. We're ready to compete for the Super Bowl. Okay, I won't sign it for a year. I'd rather get my kids to play.
He said 2 years with a 3-year option.
I'll go for that. No, 3 years to me is 3 years. So if you put an option in there, fine. Okay, that's a good way to walk out if it don't pan out. But the point I'm making here is, you're going to commit to Warford. It's going to be part of the rebuilding. Okay, it's not a fill-in. If you want a fill-in to teach the kids, I'd rather have Jason Peters to help out with Austin and Hunt on tackle play. That makes a lot, because he's only there for a year, at most 2 years, because he's so old. I hate to say that, but he is old. So the kids can learn from him. That I can buy into. But Warford is not a high-end veteran. He's not an old veteran. He's still pretty much his prime right now. Just turned 29, and 3 years from now he'll be 32, which is still a good age for a guard. You're still playing at a high level at that age for a guard. Even for a tackle, by the way. So, yeah. So I'm torn with Wofford. You're going to go in for the pound. You're going to go for the whole thing, not just for a pound. Okay, not the 2 year, 1 year as a stopgap measure. That doesn't make any sense at all in a rebuilding team.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yeah. Silence is golden. Yes, you had something else here. No, that's basically. I do like Yannick, but I am concerned his production fell off.
He's also not technically scheme fit either right now.
Yeah, possibly, because he'll take away from the other guys. Yeah. Other than that, I don't see any free agents. Safeties, I agree with you guys. That's going to be interesting. How it's going to play out, I have no clue how it's going to play out. The other day was an interesting. I think you guys brought up. How about Cordea Tankersley going to safety? Okay, that's another possibility. I mean, there's so many options this team have, and it's kind of nice after having no option because we had no talent. Now we're trying to figure out where to play our talented players in part and see who can do the job. But yeah, that's the fun part. I have no idea. I have no clue what's going to happen there. Just don't know. Noah, hey, great tackler. Aggressive player, sounds like the type you would also want to put in your safety. Great speed. So yeah. I mean, if Needham really shines and he holds on to the slot corner, that's a potential too to move him to safety to give McCain a run for his money.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be a short run, by the way, but because
I never know. We never know.
Yeah, everybody's ragging on McCain, and so am I. He's an all right player. I mean, overpaid all right player. That's about it. Better a slot than safety, no question about it. But even then, he was just an all right.
I keep. And Brandon Jones might be given an opportunity to compete.
Yeah, more than strong safety, I think.
You never know, man.
Yeah.
A lot of his snaps came in the slot.
Yeah. I think ultimately that
171 snaps last year.
Yeah, I think ultimately that'll be his. I think.
Well, I told you before, guys. I think, when I thought about it, I think he's going to be competing with Baker for snaps more than anybody else on that team. He's going to be competing with Baker. They're about the same size. They do about the same thing. Only one's a safety, the other one's an undersized linebacker. So, I could see him competing for the.
Who was that?
No, I could see him. Yeah, I could see him competing for snaps from Baker. Okay, Jones, because he's about the same size. Oh, he's a safety, legit safety, and Baker's an undersized linebacker.
Yeah.
So I could see him competing for Baker for his snaps. So it's just totally interesting, this team.
Right.
Okay. And what a change from the last years. We're just looking for somebody. We're begging for players. We're signing off the streets because we couldn't find any talent. Now we got a lot of talent to develop and try to fit in and solve that jigsaw puzzle.
For sure.
Yep. Well,
Absolutely.
And by the way, I just want to see Rosen have a chance. I'm not a Rosen card-carrying member of the club, okay?
He's had a chance. What do you mean?
You never know.
Oh, my God.
How many times we've seen it, guys? All of a sudden, a light bulb comes on a player. Okay, how many times? I know Reed's going in there, but it happens all the time in sports.
Yeah, it took Tannehill 7 years for the light bulb to turn on.
I know, right? 7 years. You want to go 7 more? You want 7 more, bro?
Nah. All I said is I won't be surprised if he wins out the job, and I won't be surprised if he gets cut. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
that was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be cut because his contract is too friendly, and plus they don't really save on his salary cap. But
you know what, Larry?
No, if he doesn't prove and for us to get rid of him, I won't be surprised at all.
You know what, Larry? You know what speaks the most? You know what speaks volumes about this Josh Rosen situation? Mm-hmm. Never mind his statistics. Never mind his, his.
You mean lack
of stuck-up attitude or whatnot? Yeah. Lack of statistics. The most telling issue with Josh Rosen is that teams have invested major capital in him back-to-back years, and both of them had him for a year and opted to select a quarterback in the top 5 in back-to-back years.
Hey,
that tells me everything.
All I'm saying is,
all
I'm saying is, you never know when that light bulb comes on. Okay, just don't know. Okay, there's no question he has the talent, whether we like it or not. Nobody questions his talent.
What if the light bulb's not screwed in fully, Larry?
Well, then you know what? I'm not surprised they get right. Hey, you may be absolutely right.
Hey. But, what if that lamp isn't plugged in, bro? What if it's not plugged in?
Hey, then you know what? You get rid of him. That's football, okay? Yeah, you guys may be right. Maybe Rosen is something. I don't know. All I know is he has the talent. He's on our roster. As far as you know, he's going to let him compete. If he does well and wins out, good for him. Okay, and the Dolphins would be in great position. If he doesn't pan out, thank goodness we have Fitz. Okay,
Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah,
Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert has talent. You'd be hard pressed. You'd be hard pressed to find a more talented guy than Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that I did Chad Henne dirty by comparing Josh Rosen to him, bro.
By the way,
right?
Drew Brees went through that too in his couple of years. All of a sudden, when they drafted Phillip Rivers, the light came up on him, and all of a sudden he became Drew Brees.
The light came on with him after he came back from the injury, and when he got Tom House as his quarterback coach. That's when you saw the light come off with Drew Brees, when he worked on his mechanics and he bettered it. That's when you saw.
No, that was after.
No, you didn't. You did not see. You did not see the accuracy that you see right now. You didn't see the.
By the way, guys, I want to stand up for the Dolphins management back then. They made the right decision on Drew Brees. Okay, people forget or may have not been aware of it at that time. Drew Brees had an injury and nobody ever came back from before.
10%.
Right, 10%. Surgery how was considered whatchamacallit, one of those never done before. So the chances are he wouldn't come back. So, and everybody comes back from knee injuries, even back then. So they went with Dante Culper. I'm one of those guys that says you never, when you judge something that happened, a decision that a person or a team makes, you got to judge them if it's right or wrong at the time they make it. You can't play Monday morning quarterback. Monday morning quarterbacks are for losers and for people who never make decisions. Okay, so the Dolphins were faced back then with this decision. You have a quarterback. We like this potential. He's shown a lot. We like both quarterbacks. One of them had major surgery that chances are he'll never come back from, and the other one had a knee surgery that everyone usually comes back from. To me, they made the right choice. It was a no-brainer. I would have made that choice too. Okay, considering that Dolphin team had some talent and needed a good quarterback. It's not like the Dolphin teams of last year where you could have just gambled on Drew Brees. And two was a gamble. But remember, I told you about this gamble. It's the one team that can afford to gamble in this kind of situation, Dolphins, because of all the draft picks we have. It won't hurt our rebuild if Tua just totally tanks. Okay, I doubt it very much. He's very talented. The only question I have with Tua is, like everybody else, is injuries. Hopefully, he'll stay healthy enough. But if not, and everybody goes, you shouldn't have drafted because I was going to get hurt. Well, the Dolphins are going to be as hurt as other teams because they got all these draft choices to continue the rebuild and get better, while other teams usually in their situation don't. Once they draft a quarterback, don't pan out, they're bad for like the next 4 years. That's the way it is.
I think a lot of people are on the side of the fence thinking they made the wrong choice was because even Saban came out and said that they made the wrong choice at the time.
After the fact. But you yourself said 10%. And I thought it was even less than that. Those are bad.
Culpepper wasn't even good though before he came here. He had gone for a couple of years. Culpepper wasn't once Moss.
With us, he sucked. He sucked. Okay, he never get back. I think everybody underestimated how much of his mobility was a factor in his game. No, I'm talking about when they made the decision at that point. Okay, it was either Culpepper.
I wouldn't even have signed Culpepper at that point, to be completely honest.
Then who would have they signed then?
Buddy, I would have drafted someone and rolled with it.
Yeah, they could have signed.
Culpepper was the same guy who was dropping dimes on bombs and then rolling out and trucking people on a 15, 20-yard run by just putting his shoulder down. He wasn't that guy anymore. Like, we went out and got it was either go sign a guy with an injury risk or go out and get a guy who's a shell of his former self. That's what their options basically were.
Well, you know what? The option 3 would have been the right option. I won't debate you there. I'm just looking at the options they had then and there to make a decision. They probably screwed up when they didn't draft the quarterback instead of taking one of those options. If there was one available, we never know. I don't remember back then who the quarterbacks are. That has to factor in too.
Yeah.
So anyway, but that my point is that I hate Monday morning quarterbacks, and
we passed on him in the draft too, Breeze. We didn't just pass.
We did. We twice. Yeah. Okay, we can blame them for that. Okay, because they had a choice and they didn't make the choice. But not the one. And we said it, and I remember we said it when they passed at that time when they passed on him. How can you pass on Drew Brees? He went early second, so we could have had him in like late. I think we were drafting late 20s. I don't remember who did he draft that year.
It was Jamar Fletcher.
Oh gosh, we passed on Drew Brees for Jamar Fletcher. I
Gotta
never.
love it.
Yeah, good journeyman cornerback.
Yeah. Anything else you wanted to add, Larry?
No, dude, it's okay. I'd have my fill.
All right, buddy.
Okay, take care, my friends.
Yeah, have a good one night.
All right, bro.
Quentin Riddle, what's good, brother?
You hear me?
Oh man.
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Quinn, what's
going
good,
on,
man?
guys?
What's good, homie?
Hey, you like that butt whooping I put on your EM on Madden, right?
He whooped
You hear me?
What's that? I can't hear you, bro. You cutting out.
I'm driving to work
No, I don't know what this dude is talking about. You cutting out.
You beat me. I beat you on Madden, man. You get.
I don't know what you.
What did he give you the work, bro?
Hey,
Did he give you the
I
work?
have no idea what this man is. Hey, I have no idea
I
what this
gave
man
him
is
the work,
talking
man. I
about.
used Tennessee on him. I used
Hey,
Tennessee on him.
listen. Hey, Quinn, you ain't even no real fan, bro. You playing with a different team, man. Come on. How you gonna be playing with the Titans,
I'm
bro?
a real fan.
Hey,
Nah,
listen,
I
let me
had to put
explain.
that Tannehill whooping on you.
Hey, let me explain to the Dolphin fan base before we get carried away here. Quinn, true enough, he beat me by 1 point, bro. 1 point. But I was in here.
But you're winning.
Listen. I was killing it, bro. I was not playing. I was up by 2 touchdowns. I was killing him. Killing him. I threw two pick sixes playing around on his goal line. On his goal line now. Just playing around.
Who are you, Jalen Hurts?
I was killing him, bro. But don't worry, that rematch is coming. You see, he didn't send that invite yet because he know what's coming. He know what's coming.
Nah, man. I still gotta go
It's
to
all
work,
good. What's
man.
good, though, homie?
Not much. I just want to talk about the Logan Ryan thing.
All right, bro.
I like Logan Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
but I really don't want to sign him because I don't want to take away from Nick Needham and Noah. Because on defense, you gotta have, you gotta play to get better. Because you see how Nick got better throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to stunt the growth of the young players. Yeah, he's a better player, but I just don't want to waste. I'd rather get an offensive lineman or get another defensive lineman.
See,
That's my opinion.
and I get that more than I do when people say, "Oh, Warford will stunt the growth of the young guys." My thing is, we know Noah Igbenogany and we know Nick Needham have very high ceilings, right? I think Solomon Kinley is 2 years away from even being a starter, and I think Jesse Davis doesn't have that high of a ceiling. So Warford taking snaps away from those guys right now, to me, isn't detrimental to where they're at, because I don't think Solomon Kinley, like I said, is going to be starting in year one, and I don't think he sees. And like I said to people, if you go back to Georgia, all he ever played was left guard. He didn't play right guard. So what is the Aaron Flowers eventual replacement? Because I don't think he's going to be playing starting right guard in year one. So, and Jesse Davis, he'd be going back to his natural spot. But like I said, I don't think you can't compare the ceilings of Kinley and Davis right now in terms of taking away snaps to the ceilings of a Noah Igbenogany and a Nick Needham getting snaps taken away, right? So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I agree with you 110%.
But another thing I would like for them to do, I like Ted Karras. I like Ted Karras as a backup.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Dieter play center. I feel as though if you put the undrafted free agent we got, what's his name, the big Mauler dude that played tackle, move him in the guard.
Oh, Hubbard or Kaltmeyer?
Put Hunt at right.
It was Jonathan Hubbard and it was Kaltmeyer.
Put him in at guard. Put Hunt at right tackle. Jesse Davis is swing tackle. And we have two big Maulers beside Dieter that can help him out with his power, his strength. Because Dieter was the only one getting to the second level last year, but he just didn't have the sprint at the point of attack. But he can get to the second level. That's the thing. But if you put him at center, he can point out, because Dieter is a very smart player. Cause he played all along the offensive line in college.
Yeah.
If you put him at center, he can point out all the deficiencies, call the fronts, call the run fits, and all that stuff, the passing, stuff like. I think that's the perfect spot for Dieter. Dieter can be. Remember Tim Ruddy back in the day?
Yep.
He could be Tim Ruddy.
Yeah, I agree.
Tim Ruddy. He wasn't the best center, but he was a good center.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Quinn. We said, we talked about. I think we talked about that on TD Stream some months ago. We started this whole, elite process.
What's the guy?
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of the undrafted free agent we got. To me, he reminds me of Jamie Nails. He plays guard. I forgot his name. The Mauler dude. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He went to a small college. Forgot his name.
We got this. We got this year.
Yeah, the undrafted free agent.
Yeah, he's it's the guard. The guy plays guard and center. I know who he's talking about.
No, not guard and center. That's the dude from South Carolina. I'm talking about the guy from Hubbard.
Jonathan Hubbard. He's a tackle.
Yeah, he can be.
He's a tackle.
Yes, if you move him to guard, oh my God, that dude is a monster. That's what I like. I don't like all that finesse playing, man. Finesse playing is for girls.
I agree. I tell you that competition in training camp. Oh my God, bro. That might even be more that might even be just as entertaining as a regular season, bro.
Don't sleep on Nick Kaltmeyer, the right tackle we got from Kansas State, because that man is 6'8" and 311. So he adds 10, 15 pounds.
He's 6'8", but his feet are slow, though. His feet are slow.
Yeah, but you can kick that guy inside.
I like guys who have that short space. Like, even though what's the guy who played left tackle and then he had to play guard last year. He played good. Damn. Play for UM. I can't remember nobody's name right now. He has very good short area quickness. That's what it takes to play guard. If you have that explosiveness in that short area, and that
you talking about Isadora, Danny Isadora?
Oh hell
okay,
no!
My bad.
I want him to get cut. He needs to get the first bus ticket, man.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
He needs the first bus ticket.
Yeah. You talking about Flowers? Yeah.
Oh, and another thing. Remember you were talking about Kalen Ballage? You gotta understand, Kalen Ballage had the same makeup as Jordan Howard. He just faster. You gotta always have two running backs with the same type and a speedy running back. That's what Breida is for. Breida and you can say Patrick Laird is almost the same. Breida just has way more speed than Laird. You understand? Because Laird can do the same things Breida can do. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run between the tackles and stuff. He just not as explosive. But you always got to have two of the same backs if that's going to be your starting back. That's why I feel as though you need. I want to keep giving Kalen Ballage one more chance. If he can't do it this year, you can just cut him. I feel as though he has a lot of potential. And I feel as though last year it was mental, because in the beginning of the year he was getting and on the second level, but he just kept getting hit in the backfield that just lowered his confidence level. That's what I think it was. It was a mess thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Kalen Ballage until training camp. If he is falling behind and he has other people outperforming him, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna give him at least to training camp.
But I'm gonna be honest. Last year in training camp, I was at every training camp before we couldn't come anymore. Kalen Ballage was outperforming everybody. I'm just being honest with you.
I
And
remember,
that's why I
remember
feel
seeing
it
those
was
reports.
mental. It was a mental thing. It was something was a
Mhm.
mental, or he was hurt. I have firm belief he was hurt and he was still trying to play. You could tell how, because when Cable Lodge last year, he ran for the contact. He was trying to hit people before they hit him. This last year, he was like tiptoeing, like he was scared, like he was hurt.
Yeah.
It's just that's my thing.
Hmm.
But guy, it was nice talking to you, but I gotta head into work right now.
All right, bro. Hey, that rematch is coming soon. Stop running. That rematch is coming soon, bro.
And if my daughter goes to sleep when I get home from work, because soon as I come home in the house, she tells me she wants to play. So I play with my daughter before I play a video game.
I hear you.
All right, man.
Anytime. All right, homie.
All right, now.
Come
All
back
right.
anytime, bro.
Anytime, Quinn.
All right,
Anytime,
man.
bro.
Thanks for your
Hey,
support.
man, when you guys
too, bro.
gonna get the super chat thing on your channel?
When we get to 1,000 subscribers, YouTube unlocks it.
Okay, because I keep forgetting, because I like the reason why I donate to you guys' TD channel. I pay for ESPN Plus and all that crap. I'd rather pay you guys. So every time you see $20, $10 here, whatever, that's for me, man.
Appreciate
I
it.
just like to keep donating. But you guys,
Man, that's great. That's greatly appreciated, bro.
Bro, thanks
Yeah,
for all
that's
your
what's up.
thanks for all your support, bro. And we love having you on, bro. You drop insight. You're not
Any-
one of those people with a shallow opinion. So we love you having you on, bro.
Anytime, Quinn. Anytime. It's always a pleasure, homie.
All right, now.
All right, brother. Have a good one. All right. Yeah, we're coming up on 2 hours almost. Anything else you want to add?
Man, just want to thank everybody for coming out, showing that love again, and I think we had a lot of insightful conversations tonight, and that's my guy right there. I'm gonna be honest with you, Reason. It still hadn't set in yet. It just hadn't,
Because you haven't seen him throw in the colors yet.
Man, it still hadn't set in yet. I
think it will when you see him run out to training camp whenever it happens, and you see the footage of him running on the field in those colors. That's when I think it'll set in.
Yeah, all that time, bro. It seems like, bro, we had been seemed like it was a lot longer than a year that we had been evaluating him and getting in those those confrontations with a lot of the fan base. I don't want Tua. Tua sucks. He's made of glass. Yada yada. But it seems like it was a lot longer than a year. But it just hadn't really set in yet. You know what I mean? But that's our quarterback.
It's heated on Dolphins social media with one guy specifically got called out because someone was pulling tweets from a couple of years ago when this Dolphin fan was saying that he hated Tua, didn't want Tua, didn't like Tua. And now he's one of those guys who's hopped on the bandwagon and become such a big Tua supporter. And he got called out. The Dolphins community online is pretty split because half of them. And I know I said this is what I said today. I said, you know what? I don't care about who's jumped on the Tua bandwagon. It's the people who consistently crack jokes about his hip. It's the people who they went to war with me in the comments and on social media defending and talking about how good Herbert was, and now all of a sudden they're the biggest Tua stands in the world. Shout out to that dude Cam, who's now at Tua Gang. Like that guy, one of the biggest jockers in the world, man. This guy, you should see his tweets about Herbert and loving up Herbert. And then after we got Tua, all of a sudden he changed his profile picture to Tua, his cover photo to Tua, and he changed his Twitter name based off Tua. To me, that's disgusting because you're trying to get likes and you're trying to get attention off a guy you didn't want. You wanted Justin Herbert. You didn't want him. But now we have him. You're going to try and get it's kind of this. And it's because they see how popular Tua's been since he's come here. So they want to get a little action off of the popularity. To me, that's disgusting, bro. To me, that's you're showing your true colors, not even as a fan, but as a person, bro. Like you're the type of person I would not want to go down on the ship with, because you'd be quick to hop it. And I don't ride with people like that. So the people who went to war with us and the people who dragged us because we to those people, don't keep that same energy. I said it months and months and months ago. Keep that same energy when we draft them. Now that we got them, keep that same energy you had before we had them, and you enjoy our ride, because guess what? We called it, and we called it
exactly
not because we had a man crush on the player, but because we knew his skill set is what was best for this team and success long term. We were looking out for the team. We always say we look out for the logo. We don't look out for the player. And this was a perfect example of it. We watched the kid on film, and we were like, our team needs that because that can help us be successful, very successful. And you know, I mean, you watch this film and it just leaks out to you. If he stays healthy, he's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler. And I can't say that about Justin Herbert. I could say that about Jordan Love in 2 or 3 years, because I think Jordan Love's in a phenomenal situation. But I don't think he's the only one I would say that off of day one. I can't even say that about Joe Burrow right now. But Tua, I will say, all he's got to do is stay healthy, and he'll be a perennial Pro Bowler. I truly believe that, man.
I agree 100%, bro. My issue, you know, okay, I respect your opinion. If you didn't want to, for whatever reason, okay, that's fine. But it's when they used to come at us with the ridicule, the consistent and vicious ridicule that they spewed in our direction for, you know, over a year, bro, when we were just giving our opinion about this player. And, you know who you are. You know what I mean? I don't have to name any names and call anybody out. You know who you are. I just want to say, stay on that side of the fence. Don't come over here. We're good over here.
Root for the team. Root for the team, but just don't start jocking the player when you were dragging.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And as far as them bringing that, you know, coming with the ridicule and all that, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Stay on that side of the fence and keep kicking them rocks. Stay over there. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But other than that, homie, bro, you know.
Yeah, people, bro. We stuck to our evaluation. Same thing. Like, we don't.
Yeah.
You don't hear us out here taking shots at Josh Rosen, the person. You hear us out here now wanting on the team because of Josh Rosen.
Based off his tape.
Evaluation.
It's all about it. All about his tape. That's it.
Yeah, like the same thing with Tua. Tua, we wanted him and we liked him, and we had, if you guys want to call it, a man crush on him because of his evaluation, not because of Tua the person. Tua the person is still a great person, because I don't know if you saw, but after he signed that contract, he announced that he's opening up charity in Alabama, Hawaii, and Miami. That was
Miami. Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's my quarterback. That's all. Give me the Terrell Owens meme. That's my quarterback right there. Okay.
Yeah. But again, that's our guy, and you know, people can have their own opinions. That's fine, but the issue was just the ridicule that they consistent. And I mean, people, I tell you, these idiots last year, bro, man, it's crazy to me. And not just, you know, on our platform or TDs, but even on Facebook and all these other social media platforms. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous, bro. So again, keep that same energy and stay on that side of the fence. Keep kicking them rocks.
And what's crazy, that, though, most of them had only ever watched 2 games, maybe 3 games of his career: Georgia, LSU, and Clemson, and that's it.
And again, reason they're watching games. They're not watching film. They're not actually breaking down, getting in the film room and breaking down his game frame by frame. You know what I mean? So again, those individuals, that's fine, you know. But again, at the end of the day, he's our quarterback now. He's our guy. We called it, and you know, we spoke that into existence a year ago. So he's here now, and he's hopefully, again, like you said, if he can just stay healthy, I think his ceiling is through the roof. I think the Dolphins' overall value as a franchise. Look at the value he's brought to the franchise, and he's not even in South Florida. He ain't even got to Miami yet. Look at the value. Look at the value of our franchise has gone up. It's crazy, man. So again, to the people out there, I just couldn't understand the negative. You know, they were talking about off the field. You know, if you're going to talk about off the field stuff, He checks every single box.
And you got a guy.
You
got a guy who, because of his Christian background and his family upbringing, he's going to be spending Friday and Saturday nights in the early years studying film and reading his playbook. He's not the type of person that's going to be out on a Friday night till 3 a.m. or a Saturday night till 3 a.m. partying, bro. Not to say he's not going to have fun, but we got a guy who's going to put his priorities first. And that's why a lot of these high draft picks, sometimes they don't succeed because they don't take it seriously enough. They think, I went that high. I got the God-given talent. My talent's got it from here. But no, the most talented, the ones who are the most talented but also succeed because of they're usually the hardest working player in the room. And that's the mentality you have to have. If you have that work ethic to match that talent, the sky's the limit, bro.
And he's got that high element of humility inside of him. And what the Flores always talk about, he wants guys that are humble and teachable, and coachable. And he's a grounded individual. And I can remember people were talking about, I forget names, but there were times last year when people were concerned about how close he was to his family. They didn't like that dynamic. And I was like, are you kidding me? Bro, that blew me away. That's what this kid is so grounded. This is what the world needs. This is what that city needs. More of that family values, the institution of family. That's what the world needs. If we had more of that and less of, that's a whole nother show. I don't want to necessarily go down that road because that's going to open up so many different doors. But again, you want an individual that's grounded like that, okay? That's career oriented. He just wants to get this playbook. All he wants to do is get this playbook.
He's hungry.
He wants to maximize his talents. He wants to put the best version of himself.
Dude,
every single Sunday.
And all those people who doubted him and Michael, I see you in the comments, don't act like you don't know people who were taking cracks at him, breaking his hip or just by doing simple things at home. It happens all the other time in the comment section on the other platform. It happened on Twitter before we drafted him. Okay, so let's not act like it hasn't happened, bro. And that's another thing, EM. These people don't realize that they're a driving force. All these people, whether you're an analyst or the stuff he would see online saying, don't take this kid because of his hip injury. You don't think this guy wants to prove each and every one of you dead wrong?
Exactly. He had to hear that chatter.
The guy got injured because he's such a competitor. He came back early from his ankle surgery because he's such a competitor. Now everyone wants to give him chalkboard material by saying he ain't worth a top 10 pick because of his injury. Mm-hmm. Bro, I guarantee he pinned that up on his wall and he looks at it every morning and says, watch what I'm about to show you.
Exactly.
He's a dog, bro.
So,
look at
what did Henry Ruggs say?
Bro. What did Henry Ruggs say? Henry Ruggs said, not Henry Ruggs, Trevon Diggs. Trevon Diggs said this man is a dog, even in practice. Mm-hmm. And Diggs said, I barely ever intercepted him. He's like, I intercepted him maybe 2 or 3 times. But when I did, because Tua was such a competitor and such a dog, I had to let him know about it. Mm-hmm. Because that's what we got, bro. We got a dog back there. The thing is, what did we get, bro? I told everyone this guy's silent like the G in lasagna, bro. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys, his aura, his presence takes over the room. He doesn't need to be the loudest in the room.
Right. And obviously, one thing about it, at the end of the day, reason, obviously, our front office felt the same way about him that we did, obviously. Yeah. So, it is what it is.
When Greer said the tape tells us who a player is.
I knew it then. I was done. I said, you know what? Tua will be a Miami Dolphin. Tua will be a Miami Dolphin.
Herbert better be in a mirror checking what he looks like in powder blue when I heard that. That's all I had to say. Yeah, but guys, we're going to get out of here. We're over the 2-hour mark. We're going to be back Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We're going to have on Dante Colinelli from Blue Chip Scouting. He also does work for DolphinsTalk.com, and he's also part of the Dolphins Brawl podcast. He does draft analysts and stuff like that for them. He's also a Dolphin fan. So we're going to bring him on, and we're going to go over the wide receiver core, the receiving core. I guess we're going to include tight ends as well. on Friday. We're going to give you an outlook for 2020 heading into training camp. We're going to get his thoughts on Kirk Merritt, Matt Cole. So we're going to bring on a draft analyst who's also a Dolphins fan. So he's done his homework on those guys. So you're going to want to stick around and you're going to want to hear what he has to say about those guys. And it's going to be a good one on Friday night.
Hopefully we'll get some Mac Hollins questions in there as well, bro.
Okay.
So,
is there a tears going to come from your eye at that bus ticket comes through your printer, huh?
No, I'm kidding, bro. But I am gonna pick his brain about Mac Hollins as well. So, really, every roster on the every wide receiver on the roster, we're gonna question him about and see what his what his.
Or definitely, I want to ask him after it's all said and done. The last question I want to ask him is, I want him to project his 6 receivers that make the cut. I want to hear who he thinks. So, it'll be a good one on Friday, guys. I'm really excited about this because I think the intrigue is definitely there when it comes to our receiving core because of the additions we made in the UDFA pool and also even a guy like Malcolm Perry because you can use him in 4 or 5 receiver sets. So Dante Colonelli, Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, guys. Be here. We will see you guys then. Other than that, you know what it is, guys. It's Phinside.